Sup my dudes, Valkyrja, and today I'm going to be talking about the simplistic character designs in Genshin. Are they too simple and all of that? Basically because we have a reference point, the reference point being Honkai, and today's going to be another video of me just walking around and doing things. Walking around talking to you guys, doing parkour because this is my favorite thing to do because it helps me think and get my thoughts out. Because I'm ADHD and I have to multitask to think, and it's really annoying. But anyways, I want to talk about today about Genshin's simplistic character designs, the simplistic gameplay loop, and why I call this game easy. Now, granted, if your artifacts and your stuff and your characters just don't have the stats to be the stat sticks that they need to be, the game may seem difficult, but that's not what I mean by easy. I don't mean I can't beat the content, this game is hard. That's not what defines an easy game. I mean, it's just fundamentally easy to pick up and play this game. There's not a whole lot going on behind the hood. There's not a lot going on with the engine of this game. It is a very simplistic design. Each character has 2 skills and 2 passives. More passives if you have constellations, but for the sake of argument, we'll consider everyone C0. 2 skills and 2 passives to worry about. That is 4 things per character. You have 4 things on a team, and that makes it where you have 16 parts that make up a team in Genshin. Now, each character consists of doing skill, doing ult, and then some characters stay on field during ult, but most characters swap off. Skill, ult, and then swap off. It's a very, very simple design, and most characters are very one-dimensional in the way they function, and the fact that they just do their thing and swap off. Now, why am I saying are Genshin characters too simple? Well, in Honkai, they have this thing that they have implemented and started implementing in a lot of characters, air juggling. It adds a new dynamic to things, and it makes it to where they have more abilities, more passives, and more things that pop off and happen in the air. Not to mention, Honkai characters generally have a lot of passives because of the upgrade system. There is a ton of passives per character, and there's ways to constantly upgrade it. But Honkai characters generally are more complex than Genshin characters, but Honkai is also a very old game compared to Genshin. Genshin's almost 2 years old. Wow, that's crazy. I'm getting old. Almost 2 years of Genshin. That's nuts. But Genshin's almost 2 years old, like a year and a half. We are getting there, believe it or not. We do have a little bit of a ways. Actually, not a year and a half, like a year and a quarter, a year and a third. You get the idea. But Genshin's getting there, and I think it's time for Mihoyo to really up the character complexity. Add different phases, maybe a character that can proc different abilities or their abilities change depending on the state the enemy's in. If a character can do things like, you know how Kazuha can make enemies float, or Venti can make enemy float. If an enemy is in an airborne stance, have a character's ult and skill change. Or if an enemy is in a stunned state, have a character's ult or skill change, etc. Have more variety within your characters, so it's not really just skill ult, regardless of the situation, because there is a lot of situational stuff, especially some of the 4 stars. You really have to know what you're up against whenever it comes to it. So basically, that's all the video is. I just want to talk about the lack of character complexity. Are Genshin characters too simple? I think they're just the right amount for how casual the game is. But whenever I call Genshin an easy game, I don't mean everything's getting one shot, which for me everything is getting one shot. I don't mean I'm one-shotting every single thing. I mean Genshin fundamentally is an easy game. There's not a lot going on with it. You press skill, you press ult, you swap out. If you need to know what a character does, there's only 2 passives really to worry about. If you guys don't know what I mean, you go to talents. We don't count normals because every character has normals, and the only one that matters on is Eula, and even then, it's not that hard. You do 2, or you find... Yeah, I mean, you really can just smash the circle button with Eula. It's really not that difficult. But there are ways to optimize it, but you really don't need to. But basically, you have skill, ult, and then passive. So 4 things per character. And then beyond that, there's just not much going on. So characters are not... Everybody is always like, you don't have the character, how can you tell what they can do? Well, it's very simple. This game is simple. There's not a lot going on, guys. So, are Genshin characters too simple? No. I would like a lot more character complexity. I think characters with a lot of stacking mechanics like Raiden was a good step in the right direction. That's why Raiden's one of my favorite characters. Well, she is my favorite character as far as like playing goes. But I genuinely think characters need to be more complex like Raiden. I still think Raiden's rather simple, but due to the way Resolve works and the way everything and the coordinated attacks and the elemental burst damage, she has some complexity more than other characters because she's constantly affecting the team. But in the end, it's not much. It's like slightly more complex. Same with Kazuha. Kazuha, because there is an order of operations to what you can swirl. For example, like if I swirl Hydro there, then if I want to swirl Pyro with my ult, I can, but I can't swirl Pyro, then Hydro, because then I'll just double swirl Pyro. Due to the way in-game mechanics work, that adds some level of complexity to it, but overall, it's just a very simple game. So it's a very easy game to just pick up and play. There's not a whole lot of learning that goes on. You kind of get the gist of what's going on after a day with this game. Well, granted, you will get better and better over time with the units you're using, because that's just how things work. You'll get more and more optimized and more efficient in using your abilities, but in the end, the game's just simplistic overall. And I cannot wait for more complexity within the characters. Character complexity, design complexity, stuff that makes it so I actually have to think. Like Shinha's Icy Quill stacks, I really enjoy those because they function independently and they affect the base multiplier. Well, not the base multiplier. Actually, yeah, they do. They do affect base, like the base number. It's like additive to it, but I'm digressing. Basically, the way Shinha works is cool to me because it's something complex, it's something new, and it shows MiHoYo is willing to try new stuff and hopefully add a lot of character complexity in the future, add a lot more cool stuff. And if we can do things like Honkai where they have air combos and stuff in the future, oh, it'd be so cool. I'll be juggling Heliotropes all day. I already do it with Xiao. I literally made my own air combos with Xiao. So if they give characters that are literally designed around it, I'll just be in heaven. Anyways, thank you guys for watching as always. Let me know what you guys think about the characters in Genshin Impact. Do you guys believe they are too simple, or are you guys fine with them how they are? Let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.